Yes, YouTube, what's good? Welcome back to another video. It is hot as shit in the UK right now, hence why I'm rocking the vest. It's like 35 degrees in the UK right now, so it's so warm. But I thought I'd make a quick video off the cuff and kind of explain to you guys the cluster effect within your agency, how to create clusters around your models, how to create clusters around your clients, how to create clusters around your team, and how to just have a very well decentralized system-based agency that allows you to travel, train, play paddle, play football, whatever it is you want to do, whilst not having to worry about the agency stopping and standing still because you're at the mercy of your agency. You want the agency to be at the mercy of you, not the other way around. And that comes from having clear, well-built clusters within your agency to ensure everyone knows what they're doing, all the SOPs are in place, and your team and models have everything very clear to them so that everything's moving in a smooth, fast motion. So the cluster effect, in its very simple terms, is simply having a cluster of people around a model or a system. For example, you have model A here, right? And around her, you have chatters. That'll be one cluster. The next would be Reddit VAs. The next would be Instagram VAs. The next would be, I don't know, ops manager or model manager, right? And the next could be Twitter, depending on your platforms. What that allows you to do is you're not having one person or one VA, for example, running all platforms for the one model. It just gets super messy. And that's probably where you're at right now. If you're watching this as a beginner, you're probably the agency owner that is that VA, going ahead and posting on Instagram, go ahead and posting on Reddit, going ahead and posting on all these different platforms, trying to force growth, where there's no system and there's no machine, right? There's a really good movie called The Founder. I recommend everyone to watch that. It's about how McDonald's was built and the machine that was built around efficiency. And they realized by having everyone in set stations, clusters, around the kitchen, and the kitchen was set up and organized in a certain way that maximized efficiencies. So that went from buttering the bread to adding on onions, frying the burgers to adding on the burgers, like all the way up until that burger or that meal was first made, right up until how quickly it was delivered to the customer. That whole conveyor belt, let's just say, that whole cluster was optimized for efficiency. And that's how they grew to be a multi-billion dollar company. That movie, it's called The Founder. I 100% recommend everyone to watch that. That will give you so much source to apply into your business. That really helped me incentivize and understand how well efficiencies can help your agencies, right? And a lot of agencies don't usually have a method problem or a growth problem. They usually have a team or a system problem, right? There's no systems in place, there's no clear SOPs in place, and there's probably not enough team in place to support the growth of the account. There's only so much you can do by yourself as an agency owner, right? And there's only so much you can force growth. As soon as we started to apply clusters within our team, okay, so for instance, my main traffic is Instagram and Reddit right now. So one Instagram cluster itself around each model, we have account creators, we have QA, which stands for quality assurance managers. These guys are making sure the accounts have link in bios, good profiles, good branding, has no flags on the accounts. That person is specifically responsible for that. And then we have posters on the accounts. These guys are posting continuously 2-3 times a day, every single day on our remote farm. So we have a pretty big remote farm right now. And again, I've built clusters around each model that we're managing to facilitate the growth on that. Whereas if I was to do that across 200 phones, it would pretty damn well need be impossible. It probably wouldn't be impossible, but I would have no life. I wouldn't be able to train in the gym and do all the shit I like to do. I have another business that I run as well. I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to play as much paddle and fun stuff and hobbies that I do and travel. Like, I would just be a slave to my computer, which is fine at a certain point. You kind of have to do that at a certain point. But now that I'm in my later 20s, I don't want to be doing that really, right? I still work my 8-hour days, but I don't want to be working 18, 19-hour days. It makes no sense. By building those systems within your agency, it will be an absolute game changer. And to kind of give you a clear example of what it looks like, I'm going to share my screen and walk you through what one cluster would look like, okay? Cool guys, so welcome to Inside My Screen. So this is going to be an example of a cluster, and I'm going to make it most relatable to us because we're running Instagram right now, and I know most of you guys are either trying to get on Instagram or running Instagram yourselves, right? So this is an example of a cluster and how this would look inside your internal agency. So let's just say you have model 1 here, right? Hopefully you guys can see on my screen fine. Model 1. Now a cluster is like, think of like a beehive or like a hive or a cluster, right? Like literally compact piece of object, we can call it. This is the cluster. So model 1, we're gonna have Instagram chatting team, whether that's a chatting team that you're working with or your internal chatters, you'll have that in place. Then you're gonna have model manager, and again, all of this does make a difference and change depending on the size of your agency. If you're a brand new agency, you're probably not going to have an ops manager or a chatting manager. But if you're growing and you're starting to scale and you're doing like north of 10K per month, you should really maybe start having a model manager. You can find these for really cheap, and it does make your life a lot easier. This model manager is responsible for communication with models, scripting PPVs, feed, getting content, welfare and general like well-being side of things, ensure they're keeping up with content. All that kind of stuff is what a model manager would be doing, and it's a real big game changer. So give or take, this would be the cluster, right? So as you can see here, this whole section here is a cluster. If you do Twitter, it'd be Twitter. We do Instagram and Reddit, so this is what it looks like for us, right? Now, inside of this, we then have smaller internal clusters within each platform. So for Instagram, we have QA, quality assurance managers, who also create accounts. We then have posters, okay? So the QAs ensure all the accounts are created, ensure all the accounts have good quality, audience is good. The posters are the ones that are just literally posting. They're not having to create accounts, they don't have to cross-pollinate between different variables. They're literally responsible for posting enough content every single day on the accounts that's provided for them. And the QAs, we also use AI and different influences and different methods. We also use AI for the QAs and different methods to get an abundance of content for our models. The post is to post, but that's pretty much what that looks like, right? Then over here, we have the chatting team, we have all our chatters, and then we would have a senior / chat manager. Again, that depends heavily on the size of your team, right? If you just have a small chatting team right now, you're probably not going to need a chat manager, but this is kind of what it looks like for us, right? And then that model manager is responsible for directly communicating with the model. The chatting team is obviously chatting on the account and pretty much exploiting all the fans that are coming from the back of that. And the Instagram side of things is where most of our traffic is coming from, and that is ran by two kind of departments off that cluster, QAs and posters. And on Reddit, we have a similar scenario. We have posters, and then we just have Reddit manager, we call it our manager. Our manager is responsible for ensuring that the branding on the model is very clean on Reddit. The sub-Reddits that are posted on is very clean. The accounts are being created, the accounts are being aged, the accounts are being farmed correctly. That is kind of what that would look like. And then we have here Reddit account farmers. These are the ones that are pretty much creating the accounts, aging them, building the karma, building the comment karma, and then the Reddit manager will take over and brand it for each model. Posters will go on and post every single day. So in a real nutshell, this is what the cluster looks like. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, but this is basically what the cluster effect is. Now, imagine you didn't have this. Imagine you're doing all this work yourself, okay? Imagine you're having to go ahead and post on Reddit. You're having to go ahead and post on Instagram. Maybe you do TikTok, maybe you do Reddit, or whatever maybe you do Twitter, right? Imagine you're having to do all of that for each and every single one of your clients. Now, this is only with one client, right? And do you see how structured and how much of a team you kind of need to build to be successful in this business? That's because most agencies are running their business like a bedroom agency, right? That's why most agencies don't actually make much money in the industry nowadays. They're not running it like a system. They're not running it like an actual business. Exactly what you see in here is how businesses are run. You think in Amazon, if something goes wrong with the factory workers, that Jeff Bezos is going to get a call? No. It's going to go to a manager. And then they're going to go to a senior manager. It will then probably go to an ops manager. Or then probably go to a district manager, right? We want to build that same decentralized approach inside our agencies to run without us, right? You don't want to have a business that purely runs for you. One, there is zero exit value in that, okay? And two, you're continuously just going to be a slave to your business. And it's not it. Trust me, I've been there, right? I talk about all this because I have literally been there before. More particular with my previous agency. I was a slave to it. I was almost a glorified freelancer at a certain point. But this that you're seeing right here is a decentralized approach. Now, all you will need to do is duplicate this from model to model to model to model. Typically, we're scaling our models to like 25, 30K per month right now with salaries on great margins, and then we'll just duplicate exactly what you're seeing here to another model, and to another model, to another model. We're at like 12 models right now. We're still kind of duplicating and scaling. We had some hiccups with Instagram and the band wave and shit that happened and went down. But this is the approach that is working really well for us right now. Okay, so hopefully it all makes sense. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the value. Like, comment, subscribe as always. Join the Telegram group below if you're looking for more information. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.